My name is Yannis. I'm 28 years old. I'm an office worker in my late 20s. I'm just an ordinary guy who loves video games. I've been married for a year to my wife, Joanna. We met when I visited the bar where she worked, and I hit on her, which led to us dating. I had never hit on anyone before, but she was so charming that I just couldn't let her go. It was love at first sight, really. She had a cute, small animal-like appearance, and her personality was bright and a bit hare-headed. She was a bit naive about the world, but I even found that adorable. I was totally smitten, and I thought she was totally smitten with me, until that moment. After a year of marriage, Joanna said,
I'm pregnant.
"Pregnant?"
Yay. I've been feeling off lately, right? I thought maybe, so I took a test and it was positive. I got it confirmed at the doctor's today too, so it's for sure.
I was so happy at the moment, my mind went blank. But as it started to sink in, I hugged my wife. I'm so happy, really happy. It feels like a dream. Thank you so much, honey. I'll do my best to be a great dad. I was nearly crying with joy. But then,
It's not your child, Yannis.
what?
This child's father is my coworker, John. We were using protection, remember? Don't get it mixed up.
Joanna said this with a smile on her face. I was stunned. Her smiling so much made me wonder for a second if I was the one who was mistaken. Oh, by the way, John was a coworker at the bar where my wife was working. She switched to part-time after we got married. She mentioned she was close with some coworkers, but I never imagined it was to this extent. Usually, her shifts were from the evening until late at night, and they varied a lot. I hadn't really kept track of her shifts after we got married, but her bar closed at 4 a.m. It was only a 10-minute walk from the bar to our house. Yet, she would come home at 8 a.m. when I was leaving for work. So now I thought that was when it happened. She would say things like, I had to clean up, prepare things. But I should have been more suspicious. I gathered my strength. Are you cheating on me?
No way, it's not cheating. Because John is my main squeeze. Calling it cheating is such a dirty way to put it.
She said. I felt like I had been hit with a mental chokehold, and I was out cold. My heart was completely broken, but I couldn't just let it go. Trembling, I asked my smiling wife, do you prefer John over me?
Yes, because he's handsome, and we've been involved even before I met you.
What?
He's married, so he can't marry me. But I wanted to be married. His wife is a real piece of work, so he can't divorce her. That's why when you approached me, he said, our love doesn't need a marriage. Just marry that guy and take his money. Then we can have even nicer times at fancy hotels. So I married you, Yannis. Thanks to you, we've enjoyed some nice hotel rooms.
She said thank you, Yannis, with a smile, but I felt nothing but misery. I said we should get a divorce. When my heart broke, any love I had for her vanished too. I thought she'd be happy to divorce. However, as expected, she was a natural airhead. She came out with something outrageous.
Divorce? Sure, that'll be $50,000 in alimony.
What?
What? You're the one who said you wanted a divorce, right? The person who asks for a divorce has to pay alimony, you know. Didn't you know that? Oh, right. You're naive about the world, so of course you wouldn't know. Ha.
Joanna, normally, the guilty party pays the alimony.
Huh? Really?
Yes, so.
Then the guilty one is you, Yannis.
What?
Because you said you wanted to get married. I didn't want to, but I did. I reluctantly accepted everything, even kisses and sex. All of this is terrible, right? You need to take responsibility and pay me alimony.
I was hit with another attack from Joanna. My mental state was just shattered. My silence must have annoyed Joanna, and she said,
What? Why are you silent? It's infuriating. Add another $10,000 for a total of $60,000. Pay me $60,000.
Saying that, she stormed out of the house. Of course, I didn't chase after her. Betrayed by the wife I loved, I was practically a zombie. For the next few days, I was like a dead man walking. Even though she was like that, she was everything to me. The fact that I had been betrayed by the person I thought I'd protect for life tormented me. My love for her was gone, but the reality of that fact tormented me. I kept thinking about whether she really hated our proposal our kisses. I started to feel like I was sinking into depression. During the day, Joanna would come home and gradually move her stuff out. We didn't see each other, but I had mixed feelings as I watched her belongings slowly disappear. Like a living zombie, one day I actually thought about dying. I thought about dying right then, but there was someone I absolutely had to see first. That person was my childhood friend and best buddy, Dennis. He is kind of a tough guy. He is the complete opposite of a normal guy like me. He had blue hair and a nose piercing, but despite his rough exterior, Dennis hasn't changed inside. He was still a gaming nerd. Even though the people around us changed, we remained the same inside, and our friendship stayed strong. Before I died, I wanted to say my final goodbyes to Dennis. I met up with Dennis at a bar.
Man, you look so gloomy.
Yeah, well,
What's up, Yannis? You look like you're about to die.
I'm not about to die. I'm going to die.
What?
Dennis was shocked and immediately pressed me for the reason. As I explained, pushed by Dennis's serious demeanor, he frowned and said,
Yannis, I get that you're deeply hurt. I mean, you loved your wife so much, right? I was shocked too. I can't believe that the smile she showed at the wedding was fake.
I didn't want to believe it either.
But I can let you die over this. Absolutely not.
Dennis stood up abruptly. His words made my eyes well up. He was compassionate and more passionate than anyone else. I was deeply grateful to Dennis for his genuine concern.
I won't let you go down without a fight. Yannis, I have a plan. It might be tough on your wife, but if you're okay with that, listen to what I've got.
Dennis, thank you. I don't care what happens to her anymore. Let me hear your plan. So, I decided to go along with Dennis's plan. The plan was to bring Joanna and her lover John down to hell. The next day, prepared, Dennis and I headed to my house to talk to Joanna. We took a day off work because we wanted to catch her at home during the day. I entered the house. Then, I saw Joanna's shoes and some unknown man's shoes. That bastard, she had brought a man home while I was away. In the living room, Joanna and John, lounging on the couch, looked up in surprise.
Yannis, welcome back. Who's this guy? And where's the $60,000 you promised? You're late. Did you bring it? Hello. Sorry for intruding. Oh, please pay up quickly.
Despite being caught in the act, the two of them continued to flirt carelessly. I thought, why are they so relaxed? Don't they understand what they're doing? As I was shocked by their carefree attitude, Dennis next to me started to speak.
Hello, sorry for the sudden intrusion. I'm Dennis, a lawyer consulted by Mr. Yannis.
Dennis started talking with a smile. Though it was all according to plan, I thought, there's no way a blue-haired lawyer exists, but Joanna and John seemed to think nothing of it.
A lawyer? What does a lawyer want with us?
The two of them looked suspicious. I wondered, come on, what are they being cautious about with the nose-pierced lawyer?
Don't be so wary. I'm actually on your side.
On our side? What do you mean?
The two, who thought he was my lie lawyer, looked puzzled.
I heard the whole story from Yannis. At first, Yannis said my wife is to blame. He came to me asking how he could avoid paying alimony. But after hearing him out, I was shocked. It sounds like Yannis is the one to blame, doesn't it?
The dubious fake lawyer rattled on.
So, you got into a marriage you didn't want, and had a marital relationship you didn't want, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was really tough.
Right. It must have been very hard. This definitely qualifies as emotional distress. I think it's only fair that Yannis pays $60,000.
Dennis, the lawyer, convinced Joanna and John to drop their guard.
That's right. You're smart as always, honey.
The two grinned as Dennis pulled 3 envelopes out of his bag.
What are these?
Here, this is the $60,000 in alimony. Each envelope contains $20,000, so please check them.
$60,000.
Their eyes lit up as they reached for the envelopes. However, Dennis interjected, before that,
Could you please sign here first? It's the divorce papers and a contract stating you'll pay the alimony. Once you sign these, you can do whatever you want with this money.
He led the two to a table and handed them a pen. First, he had my wife fill out the divorce papers, then move on to the contract. Oddly enough, he also made her lover sign. The lover, without any hesitation, happily signed. Both were too excited to read the documents properly. That's when I activated the voice recorder. Hey, shouldn't you read these properly? When I cautioned them, they glared at me.
What? Can't you just be quiet? We're busy here. Yannis, the villain, just doesn't want his $60,000 to disappear. Don't worry, we'll use it meaningfully. And this contract? There are too many words, and I don't want to read it. As long as we sign, we get the money, so who cares?
Well, signing is considered as having read it.
Then signing solves it.
With that, the signing was completed. The two, almost skipping, took the envelopes and left.
See you, Yannis. We'll come back for the rest of the stuff later. For now, we're off to have fun. Let's go to a fancy Korean barbecue.
Dennis and I exchanged a knowing look as we watched them leave. Just as planned. Now, their hell has begun. A month later, after receiving a need to meet urgently message, Dennis and I went to the apartment where Joanna was living. I knew they'd call.
Right?
The place was nice, presumably paid for with that alimony. As we opened the front door, we saw Joanna and her lover, John. However, they looked drastically different from a month ago. The face was pale and haggard, the body was emaciated, and above all, the eyes looked strange. As soon as they saw us, they said,
Quick, come in. They might be coming. Hurry, close the door.
They seemed desperate. They were clearly mentally cornered. As we entered the living room, they suddenly raised their voices and screamed.
What the hell is this? Yannis, what have you done to us?
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. Because of you, everything is ruined.
They aggressively approached us. Dennis skillfully handled the two.
Whoa, what's going on? Take a deep breath and calm down.
How can we calm down? Quick, do something about this.
Yeah, we'll handle it. But first, tell me what happened.
Dennis spoke in a soothing voice. The two began to hesitantly share what had happened over the past month. First, after receiving the $60,000 in alimony, they had a blast spending it extravagantly. Suddenly, they got a large sum of money, and no matter how much they spent, it seemed to never decrease. Joanna rented an apartment and furnished it with brand new items. They even planned to move to a luxury apartment eventually. However, 2 weeks had passed since then. A strange man they didn't know appeared. He looked rough and asked my wife and her lover, "When are you going to pay it back?" The two, having no idea who he was, ignored him, thinking it was some weird solicitation. They yelled at the man and shut the door on him. A few days later, after work, as Joanna and John approached the apartment, they found several rough-looking men standing in front of my wife's room. The man from a few days ago was there too. Feeling a bad premonition, they didn't go home but spent the night in a motel instead. However, the men kept showing up the next day and the day after.
Those guys, they keep harassing us. They ring the bell morning, noon, and night, banging on the door, saying, "Hey, you're in there, right? I just saw you go in. Please pay back soon. The interest is going to be huge." It's really scary. I don't know what to do. They come at night too, so I can't sleep. I haven't slept at all. I just can't take it anymore. Do something quick. Plus, those guys came to my house too. When I got home, my wife was crying, saying they had come. I'm caught cheating, and now a divorce. It's just the worst. Hey, what was that money anyway? Why are we being targeted by these guys?
As the two ran it, I revealed the truth to them. That money, it was borrowed from a loan shark.
A loan shark.
Yay! It was clearly written in the contract, wasn't it? Didn't you read it before signing? I think that's pretty irresponsible for adults.
Wait, what are you talking about? That was supposed to be alimony, right? Yannis borrowed it, so Yannis should pay it back.
I didn't borrow anything.
Sorry. Maybe I made a mistake and gave you the wrong documents.
Dennis said nonchalantly. John exploded in anger.
A mistake? No way. What the hell is going on? What are you?
Despite John's intimidating approach, Dennis remained smiling.
I really just made a mistake, that's all. Or what? Do you have any proof that I deliberately made a mistake? A recording? A video? If you have something, show me. Come on, quick.
Proof is.
By the way, I have proof here that you signed it of your own free will.
Dennis then played the recorded audio. This guy's provocation level was too high. As the two fell silent, I delivered the final blow. By the way, I'm also planning to claim alimony from you too. Since you cheated on me, we're getting a divorce. I have the evidence, so please take care of it.
What? Why is this happening? Don't mess with us. We're not in a position to deal with this right now.
Oh, yes. Well, that's irrelevant. Please take care of it.
Whose fault is this?
Joanna and John were nearly in tears. Just then, the front door opened, and some shady-looking men appeared. They were supposed to be debt collectors. Seeing them, Joanna and John panicked and tried to escape, but were quickly caught and taken away. Meanwhile, one of the debt collectors who stayed behind spoke to Dennis. I didn't say anything, but it seemed they knew each other. And they said they'd do as they pleased because the debt had ballooned to $100,000 thanks to an outrageous interest rate. What the two of them were going to do sounded like something better off dead than doing. It would be like disappearing without telling their workplace or family. Later, Dennis came by with an envelope full of money.
Here, I collected it. Be thankful to your childhood friend who has a lot of tough friends.
Having a slightly wild but caring childhood friend might be something to cherish. By the way, we went out for drinks with that money. I have to say the barbecue was delicious. I wonder what happened to Joanna and John. Aren't they grilled in Lone Shark Hell? Well, that's my story. Thanks for listening till the end.